Welcome to the Imperial English UK team. You are a member of academic staff at our partner centre delivering Imperial English courses. This means you and your students have access to material and learning activities that take the same approach and are of the same quality as used in language institutes in the UK. Everything you need is on the app. The IEUK Teacher app is available on Android and web. The links to download or access are in the description, or your academy will provide this information. You can use the apps on computers, laptops, tablets, or your phones. However, the size of the phone screen is not ideal for study for long periods of time. Before the lessons, make sure the device is charged. For the listening and speaking activities, your device will need to have working speakers and a microphone, or you can use headphones. Let's now look at the IEUK Teacher app. First, we have the dashboard. When you log in, you see all the courses which you are registered on. Make sure this is correct. If there is a mistake, you need to tell your academy. There is a logout button and a menu to navigate the features of the app. To access your course content, select a topic, and this will take you to the next screen. You can see the course book and practice book exactly as the student sees them. You also have access to the teacher's book, which has answer keys and lesson plans, which comprise teaching tips and information about marking. If there is a listening task, you will also have the full tape script. There are also ideas for a warmer in task 1 for each topic, which is an activity you can do for the first few minutes of class. It is not related to the rest of the class, but is designed to get students using English before they start looking at the topic. Become familiar with the content. Here are some important points for you to understand on how to approach this course. A teacher using a course book for the first time would be expected to familiarise themselves with the content and variety of activities, as well as planning individual lessons. Please think of the app as a course book and do the same, bearing the individual students in your class in mind and predicting the problems speakers of a particular language are likely to have. Remember the varying roles of a teacher and the importance of including a variety of language in lessons. Your role isn't limited to giving instructions and asking questions. Show an interest in the content of what the students say, not only the accuracy of what they say. Classroom interactional competence is emphasised on the IEUK TESOL app. Don't think of each unit or lesson as a series of separate activities. Think of the course and each lesson as a journey that you are guiding your students through to help them develop not only their English language skills, but also learner independence. Throughout the course, remember the 4 C's of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. These life skills are embedded in the courses. You're not preparing your students for tests on IEUK's courses, you're enabling them to build their confidence and competence in English, as well as their ability to take responsibility for their own learning. The IEUK courses can be studied face-to-face in class with a variety of teacher-student and student-student interaction. The teacher knows the students, so knows which individuals need to be asked challenging questions and which students need to be encouraged to express their views. The learners are at the centre of the course. The teacher should also know their students' reasons for studying. This is also true if you teach live online on a platform such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams. But online, the chat box is part of the communication process to begin discussions. And in warm-up activities, you may wish to use online polls or simulate discussion with one of the activities available on Dave Burz's website, for example. It goes without saying that the teacher's confidence in using digital tools such as these and the features of online platforms, including breakout rooms, is a key factor in the success of lessons and ensuring good class dynamics. If you're delivering the course online, Lessons are probably going to be shorter than those in class. Therefore, a flipped classroom approach is advisable. Consider which of the reading and listening activities can be done by students individually before class, and then do the related language and discussion work during the live sessions to use the time effectively. This means introducing the tasks at the end of the previous lesson so your students understand what to do and why to do it. Be careful with writing tasks. Some intentionally are collaborative tasks where students are working together using a process writing approach. Assessment and giving feedback are an important part of the teacher's daily duties. The IEUK Teacher app aids and supports the teacher because a large proportion of the marking is done automatically. The teacher's book on the teacher's app indicates what the marking type is for each task. So it's important for you to understand what the different types of marking are. Auto-mark is where the app marks the task automatically. There is no need for a teacher to review this kind of task. A participation mark is to show that a student has completed a task. There is not usually a need to review this kind of task. Class mark is when the students complete a task and then in class or groups review possible answers as well as discuss why a particular answer is possible. Self-mark is when the students can see the correct answers on the marking criteria and check their own work or give peer evaluation to a classmate. For both class mark and self-mark, it's advisable for the teacher to briefly check these to ensure accuracy. You're able to adjust the marks if you need to. Most grammar practice tasks, reading and listening tasks, are auto-marked to save time for the teacher. In most cases, this leaves writing and speaking for marking and feedback from the teacher. Remember to use the relevant marking criteria for the task, and that if you want to give feedback, good or well done and similar comments are of no help. Feedback needs to include helpful guidance. Particularly in the early stages of the course, students will need to be reminded to submit completed tasks and record and submit speaking tasks. You must be wondering how we can access the work submitted on the IEUK student app. The answer to this is in the marking section of the IEUK Teacher app. When the students submit work, it will go to the marking section. In the marking section, you'll see there are 3 parts: pending, extra, and work record. The pending section is what you need to focus on the most. This contains any tasks which are teacher mark, and so you're required to mark these. We strongly recommend that you mark regularly so that the student is aware of their progress. Timely marking is part of a teacher's responsibilities. The extra section contains any work that has been resubmitted by the student after you have already marked the task. Students have access to the apps outside of classroom time, and they may want to reattempt tasks for more practice or to address areas of weakness. Remember, you as a teacher are not required to complete the extra marking. However, you can do so if you wish. The list of tasks in the Extra tab will only be there for 15 days, after which they disappear. If you wish to see the task, you can do so by clicking on the work record. The work record contains everything that the student has submitted to date: auto-mark tasks, participation mark tasks, class mark tasks, self-mark tasks, and teacher mark tasks that you have finished marking. Here is an example of a teacher mark task in the marking section. On the left, you'll see the course book and the teacher's book, where you can find the answers to the task. On the right, you'll see the task and the mark box for you to submit. Underneath the mark box, there are 3 options for giving feedback. You can either record your feedback for a maximum of 90 seconds, write your feedback, or choose an emoji. You can use 1, 2, or all 3 of these options. When you're happy with the marks and your feedback, make sure you press the Submit button. The student will then be able to see your marks and feedback. When you have tasks which have multiple parts, remember you need to complete the marks for all parts before you proceed. And if you're writing any comments or recording an audio message, it will be for all parts, not a single one. So just make sure that your comments are clear and identify which part you're referring to. Once this is done, the student will see these updated comments and marks on the IEUK student app work record section. It's important marked work is submitted so that students can see their results and progress. Also, because the marks are used towards the student portfolio assessment requirements, both submissions and achievement, which determines their pass or fail status on the course. A final comment on marking is that quality assurance checks are essential to ensure consistency in marking and consequently validity of the course qualification. Sampling is required. Either teachers should check at least 20% of a colleague's marking, or the academic management team can do this. When the Partner Centre tells IEUK that students have completed a course, we also sample in the UK to check the standard of work against the pass criteria. If we fail a student, it will probably be because the teacher has not done their job properly. A teacher does more than teach. There are administrative duties, and in the next section we will deal with this. The class management section has 3 parts: class logs, pen profile, and class register. Whilst these are optional, we highly recommend that you complete these. After each class, just take 2 minutes to make a note of what happened in the class, how many students you had, what work you did, and what homework you gave. This will help remind you of what you've done in each class, and is also very useful in case you have to miss a class at short notice, as a substitute teacher can look at the log and easily see where you are in the course and take the class on your behalf. The pen profile is useful for very similar reasons. In the first few weeks of the course, make a note of some basic information about your students, what kind of learner they are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and any general comments about the student. For example, Fatima wants to go to university to study business management. She's able to communicate fluently, but struggles at times with grammar. She's highly motivated. Be careful not to make the comments too personal or include confidential information about the students. This information needs to be recorded on the system, since teachers may need to exchange classes in the middle of the course, and in which case the new teacher is not familiar with the learners and what their targets may be. The new teacher will use this information to familiarise themselves with the class and plan accordingly. You should complete this in each class so that the students are aware of their attendance record. There are 4 options for attendance. P means the student is present in class. L means the student is present but they arrived late. AAB means the student is not in class but has a valid reason, for example a doctor's appointment. And AB means the student is not in class and does not have a valid reason. If you get a P, L or AAB, you still get the attendance even though you may have missed this class. If you are AB, you will not get attendance for this class. When you submit the register, the attendance record will automatically update on the student app and on the management portal for the Partner Centre administrator to review. Once you've added the register, you can always go back to edit this if required. The attendance policy for each academy will be different, and you must make sure that you're aware of this so that you can guide the students. In order to help students organise and monitor their courses, the student app has the following features: timetables and attendance, tutorials, ILP, feedback, course details, fees, policies, and complaints. You on the Teacher app will be able to view the details of all students assigned to your classes. All the courses which students are studying on should be listed here. You can check the course details including the duration, start date, end date, and if the enrolment letter is uploaded by the Academy, it can be downloaded here. You can look at students' timetable by clicking on the timetable button. You can see their attendance record by class. You must make sure that the Academy administrator has put you in the right class. If you think that this is incorrect, it's important to tell the Academy to correct this. If you're in the wrong class, students' work goes to the wrong teacher for marking. As a teacher, you are required to complete 2 sections, tutorials and ILP teacher-led. A tutorial is a short meeting with you and the student where you can discuss their course and they can ask you any questions. Including one-to-one tutorials with students is part of the course and is essential at mid-course and end of course, which are review units. Tutorials are linked to student individual learning plans and evidence of self-reflection. Session 2 of the IEUK British TESOL app covers the rationale for this in greater detail. You will write the tutorial notes, which the student will be able to view in the student app. After discussing with the student, you will set a review date and time for the next tutorial. Both you and the student will receive a notification a day before the meeting on your phone via the IEUK Connect app. You can see a record of students' payment details on the Fees tab. There are invoices and receipts. It also shows you the total fees that they have paid and the amount remaining. For more details on payment policies and methods, you need to speak to your Academy. An individual learning plan. There are 2 types of ILP. One is led by the teacher and one is led by the student. During your first tutorial, with the student you will create a teacher-led ILP. This plan is where you will set the student targets. It will mention areas of English that you feel they need to improve, and working with the student, you will advise how they can do this. It's important that you know the student's ILP targets so they know what is important for them to focus on in lessons. When you have set them the targets in the teacher-led ILP, students will need to show you that they are doing self-study to help them improve in the target areas by completing the student-led ILP form regularly. For example, if grammar is difficult for the student, they can do extra practice on websites that you recommended. Or if they want to do extra work on vocabulary, they can read articles and note new vocabulary on the app. They must make notes of the tasks which they complete on the student-led ILP form. In the next tutorial, you will review all the student-led ILPs and see if they have met the targets and need a new ILP, or if they should continue to practice more on the same targets. All academies have rules. These rules are to keep everyone safe, and some rules are government laws, so they may not be the same in every country. In this section, you will see any policies that are uploaded by your academy for students. It's your responsibility as a teacher to understand and ensure students follow these policies. The journey of a student's progress on the course is visible on this section. When the course is ongoing, the status will be shown as course pending. Once the course has ended, the Academy will verify the records to ensure they are happy with the quality of marking done by the teachers. After this, it will be sent to Imperial English UK for IEUK verification, where we will also check for the same. Once both of these processes have been completed, the student will be issued with a certificate. The teacher will be able to view, download and verify all the student certificates from this section. As part of the quality assurance mechanisms, students will complete a feedback form for every teacher. All the feedback responses and comments will be presented on the teacher feedback summary for you to review and consider. Note you will not be able to see who has made what comment, but only a collation. If there is ever an emergency when you are in class and something has happened to a student, then you have access to the student's emergency contact details, so you can inform the responsible person about what has happened and seek guidance on how to move forward. Imperial English UK courses do not include examinations for the qualification. This means students don't need to sit an exam at the end of the course, but every task they perform on the course gets a mark and is evidence of learning. The evidence of learning requirement is based on two things: submission requirement, the number of tasks students submit, and achievement requirement, the average score students achieve on the submitted tasks. The pass mark for both these criteria is decided by the Academy. Every student on the course receives a certificate to show participation. If the student meets both the submission and achievement criteria, they pass and are issued with a certificate of achievement. If the student doesn't meet both the submission and achievement criteria, they fail, but will still be issued with a certificate of attendance. All issued certificates can be verified online on this link by typing the certificate number into the box: www.imperial-english.com/verification. Students can see their certificate on the IEUK student app by clicking on Management and then Certificate Details. Once the certificate is issued, the student status on the app changes to ex-student. From this date, they will have 14 days to access the IEUK student app. A copy of their certificate, overall and detailed progress report, vocabulary record, notes, summary, ILP and tutorial records for the course will be emailed in the form of a link for them to download. They must download all the files from the link within 14 days. After the link expires, all data will be deleted and access to the course and app will also end. More information on the portfolio assessment is available on the manual. Learning English through English is at the heart of the IEUK courses. In the functional language section, there are a variety of different topics, and for each topic there is a list of phrases which are real English examples that native speakers use. In addition to this, we also provide instructions which will give you some advice on how to use and teach the language to your students. We want students to improve their communication skills, and you can help them do this by using English as much as possible during your interactions. For example, in lessons, always try to use English when you speak to the students and when monitoring group work. You can find this in the functional language feature of the app, which shows how to give opinions, make suggestions, agree and disagree, give presentations, talk about likes and dislikes, and many more topics. Here you can see examples of classroom language. All the phrases and expressions are what native speakers actually say. They are real examples. You should ask students to look at a particular topic to use in a class activity, but they should also use the functional language section for self-study and try to use some of this language outside of the classroom too. Finally, you have your own teacher management section called My Record. The policies, feedback and complaints procedure for your partner centre are the same as the student app. The observation section allows you to make a written record of any lesson observations that you do. You can select the teacher that you are observing, and when the observation record has been submitted, that teacher will also see your comments. A copy of all the records will also be available on the management portal. If they wish to add comments, they can do so. There are prompts on the observation form to help you if you're new to teaching or observing. It's good for a partner centre to have an open door ethos and encourage peer observation. You can always learn something from watching other teachers in action, and they can learn from you too. It's also a way of maintaining quality in a partner centre. As part of continuing professional development, CPD, if you, your colleagues or the academic management find any news articles, videos, websites or other resources that would be useful for teaching and learning, these can be uploaded onto the reading section on the management panel for you all to view here. Teachers continually need to develop their knowledge and skills. This is seen in how education had to quickly respond to online teaching and distance learning during the global coronavirus pandemic. CPD, Continuing Professional Development. If you attend any training, go to any conferences or events, or do anything that helps you to develop your skills as a teacher, you can make a written record in the CPD logs. For the CPD logs and the observations, an academic manager or senior teacher can leave some feedback and recommendations for you. Teachers do not work in isolation. In your partner centre, you are part of a team. As a teacher, you are a member of a profession which has standards to maintain in order to contribute to society. While you are delivering this course, there may be a time when you're not happy with something. For example, the internet is not good, you have problems with other teachers, or the management is unprofessional. If this happens, you can submit a complaint here. This will be looked into by the Academy, which will reply to your complaint and should try its best to help fix these problems as early as possible. Once you are happy that the complaint is fixed, you can click on the Resolved button to end the complaint procedure. If what happens in the Academy is against the laws of your country, you should take action by talking to the relevant authorities. You can tell us how you think and feel by completing the feedback forms. There are different types of feedback we have on the app to keep quality standards. Course evaluation feedback. During the course, we monitor your initial, mid, and end of course feedback on how you think the course is going. On the English courses, you complete the initial course feedback at the end of topic 5, mid-course feedback at topic 15, and end of course feedback at topic 29. Facilities feedback. During the course, we also monitor initial, mid, and end of course facilities feedback on your classroom and other rooms you may use. Remember, all your feedback is important to us, so please think carefully about your answers. The information collected from the feedback is for the Academy management so that they can find out areas they are strong in and what areas they need to work on and improve to give you the best teaching and learning experience possible. Your profile section has information about you. You must make sure the details on this profile are correct. If any of these details change, for example your contact number or your email, you must inform the Academy as soon as possible or update the information yourself in this section. The registered classes mentioned on your profile are very important. The class is an important factor that is the connection between the student app and the teacher app. If you do not see a class name on this list that should be assigned to you, or if there is a class assigned to you that is not yours, you must inform the Academy so that they can correct this mistake. The Academy asks about your medical information, so if you are ill when you're in the Academy, it helps them understand what to do. It is also important for the Academy to know if you have a problem with hearing or seeing, etc., so that the Academy can plan on how to support you whilst you are teaching. The emergency contact details are also very important. If you have an accident or there is a medical emergency when you are at the Academy, they can contact the correct person and tell them about your situation. Thank you for watching this video. We hope it helps you understand the features and that you are confident now on how to use the Imperial English UK Teacher app. Remember, if you have any problems, please ask for help. We wish you all the success in delivering the courses effectively and efficiently, whilst not forgetting to have fun as you go along.